everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, July 30th, 2023. Oh, the quickie courthouse wedding of my dreams. The guests, the garments, the music, the party, the event of the year. No, wait, there was none of that. Just a justice of the peace. And Tracy. Are we sure that Diane is not pregnant? What was the rush? Jack had to lock it down, maybe, for the baby. For the sake of the baby. Oh, man, I feel gypped. Ashley and Tucker are going to get a lavish wedding at the Chance Manch, and Jack and Diane got somebody's office with the American flag in the background. That just doesn't seem right. But it's not all complaints, because for what we lacked in wedding pizzazz, we made up for in Jack's boudoir. Oh, Jack's bedroom. It's right. It's exactly right. And that's the greatest compliment that I can give. The bedroom is just right for Jack. It's mostly exactly how I remember it. And it's also just so warm and so brown in there. And he had a million candles lit. I mean, it was a real fire hazard in there. But he wanted it to be special and romantic for his wedding night nookie with Diane. And then they went out for dinner to celebrate with a big Abbott family blow up in public. That's a good way to celebrate. A big blow up. It's like the Abbotts are becoming the Newmans or something. Having a big public blow up is more like something that the Newmans would do, not the Abbotts. And you know, we still had the fashion and everything. We got to see Diane's very shimmery, very shiny, sparkly silver dress. Jack in a gorgeous tuxedo. Oh, and Diane's after party dress with the sequins and the long green sleeve. I mean, the fashion's right there. Again, what we didn't get in wedding, we got in fashion and sets. So I can't complain too much. Well, let me back up. Because Jack found out early in the week that Ashley is again planning to take her patents and run. And he cannot let that happen twice. I think that the legal team that he used to do the Jabal My Beauty merger must have been a bunch of law school flunkies or something, because they're telling Jack that there might be a loophole in that merger that allows Ashley to just take all of her patents back if she feels justified. How about that? If she feels justified. And what better justification could Ashley have other than, I don't like my brother's wife? I mean, that makes complete sense to me. And if I don't like my brother's wife were an admissible reason in courts, I'm sure that a lot of sister-in-laws would be feeling pretty good about themselves right about now. But it's not. It's a ridiculous reason. On what planet should that work in court? Well, Diane says, if I'm the problem, then I'm just going to go ahead and remove myself. I'll step down from Jabal, and that'll solve everything. But Jack said, no, you're not going to remove yourself. I'm going to remove myself. And he offers to just let Ashley have Jabal. That was shocking. I mean, that's how much Diane means to him. He was willing to give it all up. I mean, that really ups the romance factor for me. Except he pulled it back one episode later and told Ashley, okay, fine. If you want a war, then you're gonna get a war. And Billy is making the mistake of being the one to help them fight it. Oh, this is a bad idea. And it was Diane's idea. And I can't believe that Billy's going along with it. Diane suggested that Jack and Billy should pretend to have a fight to make Ashley and Tucker think that there's some discord behind the walls of Jabot, and then Billy can just feed them some false info, and then Team Jack wins. But literally, as soon as Billy and Jack started talking about fake fighting, they started real fighting. Billy and Jack have been fine. In fact, very supportive of each other for a while now. But as soon as Billy started bringing up all of their past problems and how it shouldn't be hard to make it look like they're mad at each other, suddenly I already didn't know if it was real or if it was fake. And I think it's possible it could start fake and turn real. Billy, Jack, and Diane decided to make a public show of it all on Jack and Diane's wedding night because, you know, drama is more important than happiness and peace. Thank you very much. And so Diane and Jack just stood there on their wedding night in the middle of the Genoa City Athletic Club while Billy pretended in front of Ashley and Tucker to be completely against the marriage, saying out loud in front of everybody that Diane is going to ruin the whole family and the company too. Pretty much, Billy was saying all of the things that Ashley has been saying all along, and he was saying them in a very public place, making a very public spectacle of it. Of course, Ashley is thrilled to have an ally in the family. And next week, in the previews, she's asking Billy to do the same thing to Jack and Diane that he's currently doing to them. It's going to be a mess. It's a tangled web. And I'm worried about Billy. Billy's been the voice of reason through all of this, and it's really been so refreshing and just looks good on him. Looks so good on his character. But this week, Chelsea warned him about getting all caught up in this subterfuge. And, you know, she was worried that he's going to start losing his new outlook on life. Because what if Billy starts out being on Team Jack, but then little by little he starts to agree with Ashley and he switches sides? Or what if the whole thing ends up driving Billy away from the company and away from the family forever? Or for a couple months. Until the story changes again, rapidly. The Abbott family is so fractured right now that Tracy was the only one who even bothered to attend Jack's wedding. But I have to tell you, I just really appreciate that so much about Tracy. Tracy understands that Diane makes Jack happy, And that's what's most important. Okay, maybe Diane's not perfect. She's made a lot of past mistakes and she's probably going to make some mistakes in the future, but she makes Jack happy and they love each other. I feel like somebody needs to give that message to Ashley and frankly to Kyle too. Where did the giant chip on Kyle's shoulder come from? He's too mad about his job at Jabal and his marriage to support his parents when he's been very supportive of them up until now. I don't know. I guess he was just too busy boinking Audra to attend the wedding. Oh my gosh. What did you guys think of Audra's let me use your necktie as a blindfold move? No. That was so cringy to me. But I thought it seemed appropriate for Kyle. He seems like a guy who's comfortable having blinders on. And he also seems like a guy who would be comfortable playing pin the tail on the donkey. I was waiting for her to spin him around 3 times and point him toward the wall. I thought it was funny when Kyle and Audra came down from her sex suite and they witnessed the whole Abbott family blowout. And Ashley saw Kyle and Audra canoodling at the bar and she said to Tucker, "What's this?" And Tucker said, "Oh, just a couple of coworkers having a platonic drink together." Oh, that Tucker McCall. He's just standing here. Give the man a break. He's just standing here. We're crying out loud. Yeah, Ashley and Tucker announced their wedding to Abby and Devon, and even though there was some initial awkwardness, Abby and Devon ultimately gave their blessing, as if one needs their children's blessing to be remarried for the 100th time. But to go one further, Abby offered the mansion to be used for the big event. And I think that's great. It is Tucker's mother's house, after all, and I have no doubt that Catherine would also be giving her blessing to this union. And Abby and Devon loved the idea of a wedding so much that they started talking about marriage too. But it just turned it into making out. I thought maybe proposal, but then it was just them making out. Okay. You know, I also have to say, I really appreciate that Abby is willing to call her mother to the mat about the Diane vendetta. And this is not the first time that Abby has been willing to call Ashley to the mat. I like that a lot. Abby is just kind of like Billy in a way, that she's becoming the voice of reason in all of the craziness. Because Abby basically said, "Okay, Mom, projecting much? Really? Maybe you're projecting your fears and doubts about your relationship with Tucker onto Diane and Jack." Yes. I mean, I can think of no better argument. And I think it's the truth. Go, Abby. Because for all of Ashley's talk about how bad Diane is, at least Diane isn't blackmailing and harassing anybody on the side. Phyllis really is lucky to have a friend like Lauren. Because Lauren said, "Girl, I have not seen you since your death. I am furious with you, but I love you, and I'm here to support you." And I don't know why, but that scene made me a little teary. Maybe just because I think Phyllis needed someone to confide in, other than her kids and other than her lawyer, and Lauren was offering her this unconditional support, even though she herself felt so much pain over thinking that Phyllis had died and feeling betrayed. That was a good scene. Well, this week, Phyllis came clean with Michael. I mean, Heather. Christian LeBlanc still gets the opening credits for those scenes, but he's looking a lot like Heather these days. Yeah, Phyllis came clean with Heather this week about the fact that Tucker is blackmailing her with the EMT's testimony, which is great because that's just what a defense attorney wants to hear. The only real defense that Phyllis's case has is a guy who can be bought either way. You know, Phyllis answered our question this week about her sketchy EMT alibi. Phyllis said that the EMT saw everything, saw her kill Jeremy Stark in self-defense, saw it through the window of the motel room. Okay, sorry, false. Phyllis and Jeremy had the hotel room blinds down with only a little bit of light leaking through, and I have the screen caps to prove it. They were hiding out on the edge of town. Phyllis was supposed to be dead. They weren't hanging around with the windows wide open for anybody to see what was going on inside of the room. Sorry. And I'll tell you right now, if Christine asks me to provide screen cap evidence of the motel room and testify against Phyllis at her trial, I'm going to have to do it. I am not going to perjure myself for you, Phyllis. I know you're lying. But I also know that she did kill Jeremy in self-defense because I was there. And so were you. We know this. She doesn't have to lie to us. Come on, Phyllis. You don't have to lie to us. We were there. Well, Tucker overheard Phyllis telling Heather that he's blackmailing her with the EMT's testimony. And he was immediately like, how dare she confide in her lawyer in public where I can hear it. And Tucker goes on the defensive and, I don't know, he moves the EMT, makes him disappear, whatever. And now Tucker is really doubling down on pressuring Phyllis to reconcile with Jack. It's weird. Tucker's practically hovering over Phyllis's every move, and I think it's getting creepy. I think that Phyllis continuing to plead with Tucker and Tucker continuing to pressure her is part of Phyllis's redemption story. I think Phyllis is going to continue to say, no, you guys, I don't care about revenge on Diane. I'm over that. Even though like 2 weeks ago, she was literally in the park saying, you're not going to win, Diane. Let Diane win. Hell no. But now she's going to continue to tell Tucker and Ashley, no, please, I'm done with this vendetta. I want to be done with the war against Diane. And they're going to continue to pressure her, and that's all going to be part of her redemption story. She did come face to face with Jack this week, and it did not go well, as expected. I really think it would be a bold move for Phyllis if she were to turn on Tucker and Ashley and join up with Jack and Diane and maybe become a mole for them. I mean, and that's how you would get back into Jack and Diane's good graces. And that's how you would get back to a Phyllis, Jack, Diane triangle if that's what Y&R is planning, which I kind of wonder if it is. Speaking of Jack and his ladies, ladies and gentlemen, Leanna Love. I want more Leanna Love. More, more, more. I can't get enough. I always forget how amazing she is. And then the second I see her, I'm like, why is she not on the show all the time? She is a great comedic actress. She just has so much flair and so much personality, and she has a ton of history with the show. I mean, that seduction scene with Jack? Classic. And who could resist those clip-in jewels in the side of her hair? Clip-in gem clips, hair clips, Jemmy clip-in hair clips. Fake gemstone hair clips from the 90s. Classic. Giving that sexy pose and then rolling in the dinner cart. Oh, Leanna Love knows what she is doing. And she would have made a great addition to this Phyllis story all along. I mean, Leanna Love should have been chronicling this whole thing all along, being the voice of the audience, pointing out the absurdity of it all, not letting it all be so serious. Leanna would have been the perfect person to lampoon this whole mess. And maybe we're getting lucky, and maybe we're going to be getting some more of that now. A girl can hope, can't she? Is Y&R foreshadowing a Summer Billy Chelsea triangle? Because Billy went out of his way this week to approach Phyllis and let her know how proud she should be of how Summer handled her mother's death. And then we had that scene a couple of weeks ago where Billy was reassuring Summer about her career. And then we had that scene last week where he was learning about Summer and Kyle's relationship being over. Is all of that just loose ends? Or can we tie them together? Because sleeping with Kyle's uncle would be a good way to get back at Kyle. And it wouldn't be the first time, would it? Then again, Summer may have a chance at romance with Chance himself. I really thought that Summer and Chance were dead in the water after Sharon hooked up with them. I thought, well, we could, because I was kind of feeling that vibe between Summer and Chance, and then Sharon got him, and I thought, well, this is over. That's all over. It's Sharon and Chance. Now he's not going to be able to think about anything else after having Sharon. But now Chance and Summer are running into each other all over the place, 2 times in one episode. And I have to tell you, I like the chemistry between Chance and Summer still a lot. But if anyone put their fingers on my face, physically put their fingers on my face to turn my smile upside down, I don't care if you're joking or not, I'll bite those fingers off. Keep your hands off of my face. Especially someone who I sort of know but don't know. I would bite his fingers off. I don't care how sexy he is. That is unacceptable behavior. And I can't believe it really happened. It really happened. Okay, that one weird moment aside, I really feel like I'm seeing Chance in a whole new way. And it really makes me happy. I have been lukewarm on him for a while now. And I think he's really bringing the romance and the charm all of a sudden. He gets big points from me for actually making that jukebox flip this week. Did you see that? I was wondering if that CD jukebox at the coffee house still works after all these years. And yeah, he moved it one whole slide. Oh. Sharon and Chance. I asked you last week if you thought they were hot or not. I mean, it's a slam dunk. 79% of you said hot. Sharon and Chance, hot. Yeah, I agree. And I thought it was beautiful. They danced the night away through that beautiful musical montage. I think it was on Wednesday. That's way number 3 that soaps are surviving the writer's strike. Music. It's like number 1, sex scenes. Number 2, flashbacks. Number 3, musical montages. That's how you buy time on screen without needing writers. Just put the actors on screen, make them look thoughtful, and pop some music over it. It's a good call. Well, so I don't know. Is Sharon's association with Adam gonna end up becoming between Sharon and Chance? I don't know. Chance seemed to be showing some concern about Sharon working with Adam this week. Is it concern, or is it future jealousy? I don't know. All of Sharon's mates are required to hate Adam. That's in the protocol. So maybe Chance is just filling that role. Although I thought Chance and Adam were friends once upon a time, weren't they? I don't know. But he was not. He was contentious with Adam this week. And I guess we'll know if Chance has ends up having a problem with Nick too. Then we'll know more, that there's more to it, that it's not just about Adam specifically, that maybe it's about jealousy specifically. I loved how Victor reamed Phyllis this week when he saw her walking around alive and well. He said, "You look great for a dead woman." And you know, he said, I've been thought of as dead a few times myself, but I, Victor Newman, have never let my family think that I was dead on purpose. Hold up a minute here, Victor. Sorry, no. You have made this argument to the wrong viewer. Because when I started watching this show 30 years ago, you were hanging out on Hope's farm while everyone in Genoa City thought that you were dead, and you knew it. You let them think you were dead, and you were okay with it. So, pot, meet, kettle. Oh, I will never not be nostalgic for Victor and Hope. And I will never not appreciate a good, old-fashioned Victor Newman boxing scene. Yes. And I think it's especially relevant right now because most of the fans know that Eric Braeden is being treated for cancer. You know, he's fighting for his life, and I can think of no better way to illustrate that real life circumstance through the character than by doing the heavy bag scene. I wouldn't be surprised at all if I learned that it were Eric Braeden's idea to do that scene. He is a fighter. And if you've ever read his book, I'll Be Damned, you know, I don't know him, but I just really get the impression that he is someone who possesses both outer and inner strength. It's a really big part of his personality. He is both physically and mentally strong. And I have no doubt that Eric Braeden wants us to see that, specifically wants us to see that. He wants us to see him strong, and he wants us to see him fighting, and I want to see him win. Now, as far as the character of Victor goes, and the big blow up that he had with Adam on Friday, those were great scenes for the actors. Very emotional. they're both actors obviously so great. I mean, I was surprised at how riled up Victor was getting, and Adam is so intense, and there's so many reasons for these two to have problems. But I'm tired of the same story. I got to tell you guys, I'm tired of this exact same story. It's been going on. Victor gives Adam a company and then he takes it away. And then he gives him a company and then he takes it away. He gives him a position and he takes it away. It's been going on for a year now. And the plot never goes anywhere. In fact, on Friday, Victor, again, threatened to remove Adam from Augustus. And then in the end, did anything change? No, it never does. Nothing changed. That whole scene, nothing came of it. It was just there, and then we're going to make these threats and then gone. Right back to, it's all back to the same place. It's just all talk and no action. There's a lot of that right now. A lot of talk and no action. Especially when it comes to these business stories and these jobs and everything with all the companies. Sharon's going to offer Mariah a job at Augustus next week. Oh, goody. Wow, that blows me away. Another job offer. Adam offered Phyllis a job this week, too. Wow, another job offer. How original. And do you really want to hire somebody who's on trial for murder charges? Phyllis and Adam, I think they could be an amazing duo. And Lord, to me, it looks like next week Adam is in that old apartment of Billy and Lily's. Or if Adam is actually getting an apartment, oh my gosh, Y&R's doing such a good job with these sets. This is happening. But do you really want to hire somebody who's on trial for murder charges, Adam? I mean, that tells me everything I need to know about how Phyllis's trial is going to go. And then more job offers. Victor offered Sally a whole business. And this is the most absurd one of all. I mean, he could have just sent her a condolence card. Instead, he was like, I'm sorry that happened to you. Why not throw yourself into work? That's what I always do. And I know you turned down Nick and Adam's offers to get funding for your business, but maybe you'd like to take my money instead. No strings attached. Complete autonomy. That's the Victor Newman way. I mean, come on. We just been through this. There are so many reasons that Sally should not take this job, that Sally would not take this job. And the Jill video call was a total token just to get Jess Walton on screen. I mean, Sally and Chloe's deal with Chancellor Winters was with Lily and Devon. But Victor just decided to tell Jill that he's going to go ahead and take Sally now, and he's just going to hire someone else to replace her for the Chancellor Winters project. I'll just go ahead and pick the replacement, and I'll just go ahead and take Sally now. Even though Sally hasn't even accepted the job offer yet. He's still calling Jill and just telling her this is how it is. This bodes well. I am waiting to reconnect with Sally. I'm ready and willing, and I love Sally Spectra. I loved her since Bold and the Beautiful. But I do not know who she is anymore on Y&R, and I think that's a problem with a few of the characters. But just specifically, I guess, since we're on the topic of Sally. I mean, she was out of town for a little while, and she did get some perspective from Coco and Grams, who we've never seen on Y&R. Might be nice. Or maybe I think we saw her Grams one time. I love Grams. She's great. That actress is great. But she might need some family around her or something. But she went away and connected with Coco and Grams and then came back to Genoa City. And as a result of those conversations. She did acknowledge Adam's loss to him, but she certainly did not apologize to him. And now to take a job under Victor's thumb because she, quote, wants to prove something to him. Literally, quote, she wants to win him over. Why? Why does she need to do that? And to take the job even though both brothers told her not to? I mean, it doesn't feel very Sally. Then again, it's just another business that we never see doing business. At least we saw the inside of the Jabal boardroom this week. That was fantastic, and it was nighttime. So the city was all twinkling outside of the blinds. I thought that was really gorgeous. But maybe to up the real factor here, the realness factor here, might I make some suggestions? Could we maybe see some of the characters taking client phone calls or video calls, or at least maybe seeming really engrossed in their laptops? You know, things that business people do. Maybe pull a piece of paper out of the printer. Maybe have an assistant bring in a file folder or a thumb drive, make it sound real important. Or, just something simple like ending a scene with someone saying, oh, I have to go put out a fire in accounting or whatever. It's just all become so unbelievable to me. Thank goodness at least Nate made a phone call this week. Nate's the only one doing business in this town. There was an entire episode dedicated to Nate taking over for Victoria and Nikki while they were out of town. And then basically everyone in town walking up to Nate one by one and questioning his intentions. Victor, Nick, even Billy. I don't understand why everyone feels the need to keep confronting Nate over something that they think he might be thinking of. Nate, don't you even thinking about doing something wrong, okay? It's getting old. Either knock off the nagging or make Nate do something to justify the nagging. I'm okay if Nate does something underhanded. That's fine. But just something to justify all this nagging would be nice. Victor called Nate out to the ranch just to remind him that no one besides a Newman will ever run Newman. And what I liked about that encounter was that Victor mentioned that had become a sticking point with Neil. And it's true, because Neil worked for Victor diligently and loyally for years, but Neil knew that there was a glass ceiling, and that is eventually why he stepped away. Well, and I'll tell you what I liked about Nick's confrontation with Nate was that Nate pushed back on Nick. He said, fine, you don't like me. I get it. I hear you. What can I do to fix it? What can I do? And then when Nick didn't have an answer, Nate just said, you know what I think, Nick? I think you're jealous of my drive and ambition because you don't have any. Ooh. I like that because it's arguably true. Nick does not have drive or ambition, or he would have been the one that Victor would have chosen to run his companies over Victoria, and you know it. You know Victor wanted it to be Nick, but Nick didn't have it in him. And when it's a contest between Victoria or Adam, Victoria wins because she knows when to kiss the ring, and Adam won't do it. But back to Nate. Twist my arm if I have to. Back to Nate. I felt like the fact that Billy needed to confront Victoria's boyfriend, that was overkill. I thought Billy and Victoria were in a good place and he was respecting her personal life these days. But Nate said to Billy, well, if you think that Victoria needs protecting, then you don't really know her at all. I don't know. Can't everyone just leave the man alone to do his job in his crisp new suit? Oh, no, we can't have that. Nate having nice new clothes and feeling good about himself must mean that he's plotting and planning. Come on. Let the man enjoy his new suit. He looked good in it, damn it. Oh, well, live and let live. Who said it? Well, the answer is Diane. Last week, she was talking to Ashley. Ashley, I think, was letting Diane know that Phyllis was back, had been released, and was walking free. And Diane was having her very above it all attitude. And she just told Ashley, oh, well, live and let live. That's what I think. It just doesn't even sound like the old Diane Jenkins. It sounds like an all-new Diane Jenkins, but only some people believe that. But some people also got it right and guessed that it was Diane. So congratulations, Henry, Daisy, Calvin, Ron, Brittany, Victoria, Erica, and good old Marky. Congratulations, you guys. Well, we need a new quote for this week, and here it is. Sometimes the best way out is forward. I like that. Sometimes the best way out is forward. Oh, that's kind of hard to do sometimes too, isn't it? But that's pretty good advice. If you think you know who said it, you should go to yrchat.com and leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. Well, here I am with an audio-only podcast this week. My daughter went to camp last week, and she came home sick, or she picked up a bug or something. She was coughing all last night, and I didn't get enough sleep. I'm tired. I got bags under my eyes. I think I'm practically delirious at this point. She'll be fine, but it's like I worry, and she was coughing, and she's very phlegmy. And I'm sure I'll get it next. That's how it goes. Oh well. So I just thought I would hop on here this morning and give some quick thoughts. I didn't have time to pull your comments. I'm so sorry. But I really do want to get some good there is always some good conversation going on about the show, always at yrchat.com. And I love reading your comments, even if I didn't get a chance to type them all up and read them out loud. But specifically, I'm kind of wondering if we should do a grade for Y&R right now, kind of check the pulse with everyone right now, because I feel like we're starting to see a lot of examples of maybe the writers' strike starting to have something, starting to peek through into Y&R, because it really didn't affect us. I mean, the writers have been on strike since like May, and nothing really has affected soaps, and yet now I think we're getting to the point where we really are seeing the flashbacks. We're starting to see, more of the love scenes. We're starting to see the musical interludes. But more so, I think we're starting to see a lot of the plot starting to lag. I don't know if you guys are getting that too. I mean, I feel like, so much is being made up for, and the beautiful sets and set decorations and all of that gets a total plus. But I'm kind of wondering if you guys would like to weigh in on the writing or the overall plot, of the show right now. Are you starting to feel that it's lagging or it's not going anywhere? I feel like I just spent the last 15 minutes complaining about the show, which I normally don't do, but well, yes, I do. But it is kind of like, what's going on, Y&R? Can we get some movement? And was Jack and Diane's quickie wedding related to the writer's strike? Do we just needed something quick to be able to put on screen or what's going on? Things feel a little bit off to me. And if we're grading on a school scale from like A to F, and if C is average, I'm wondering if we're a little below average right now. I'm not sure. Are we average? Are we below average? Are we above average? That's where I need to put the poll this week. So go to yrchat.com. Let's try to have a little bit more of a bird's eye view of the show this week rather than just a specific question. And talk about how you think the show is doing overall. What's the grade that you would give it? A is the best, F is a total fail. Let's just see where it's all shaken out. Go to yrchat.com to do that. There's also, I love the flashbacks, so that's a little bit of a bonus for me. So I got to weigh that into my decision making when I do a grade. So I'll try to take all things into consideration, but the writing is where it's really lagging for me right now. But I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say. And I'll be back to say much more next Sunday. Hopefully I will not have caught her cold. Hopefully I'll be feeling better. But yeah, right now I got to get a nap. I'm almost single-mindedly focused right now on plopping down on the bed. So that's where I'm headed. I hope you guys have a really good rest of your day and a good rest of your week. I love ya, and I will see you next time. Bye.